What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the Stock Advantage. My name is Darren, and today we're going to talk ZOM or Zomedica. I'm going to give a quick update on what's going on with the stock and what I see going forward. So without further ado, let's jump into it. All right, guys, so over here to the side, you can kind of see the agenda for this video. First off, we're going to talk about current price action. Going to follow that up with the latest news. And then we're going to talk a little bit about some upcoming catalysts and how that could affect the stock price. And we'll finish up with my price target update, what I see in the short term prior to the Trueforma release, as well as the long-term potential on this stock, because you can be an investor in more than one way, a swing trader as well as a long-term investor. So I want to touch base on both of those points. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so first off, Zomedica. Real quick, what it is, a company that creates products for companion animals. Basically, they make diagnostic equipment, and they've got a new product releasing, which has been a lot of the buzz lately. So let's look at this current price action. As you can see here, the stock finished on Friday at $228 a share, went up a little bit in after hours to $233. But if you look at the 1 month span here, I mean, this dude has been on a tear for the last month. Pretty much it started whenever they released that they were going to, the date for their Trueforma product, that's going to be their main diagnostic push for this year. And then it got fueled by Carol Baskin's, that one. And so anyways, the stock's been going through the roof. It caught the attention of some retail traders and Redditors and all that fun stuff. And so what you ended up with was a high run up here to almost $3 a share. And then over the last couple weeks, it's kind of cooled back off. And there's a few reasons for that. So I'm going to talk about that here next. As far as the, main thing, 2 months ago, this was a 30-cent stock. It's up over 750% in those last couple months. It has cooled off a little bit, dipped as low as $2 this week before finding that balance in the mid 220s. And then the volume is down some. I mean, you can see on the big run up back here, the volume was through the roof, 179 million, 202 million. And then it's kind of cooled back down to, you had a 50, I think Friday was a 50 million volume day. So it's kind of cooled back off a little bit, but 50 million volume in a day is still pretty solid for this company. So that's kind of where we're currently at with the current price action that's happened over the last couple weeks leading up to this point. So next up, let's talk about the latest news. So the biggest thing that happened over the last few days or the last week or two has been a direct offering. So a lot of companies that see this kind of growth usually put out a direct offering because it's a way for them to make a lot of cash really quick. And so they did initiate a direct offering on 2/8. Started out at 25 million, and then before it was over with, they actually raised it all the way to $200 million share offering, and they just completed that this last week. So anytime you have the share offering happen, that's when you see these major drops, right? And so that's what happened here. You had the share offering, and then it dropped back down because more shares, the more diluted the price gets. So kind of recovered there, and then it's kind of been as the direct offering is in place and a few other things, that's kind of leveled off the share price and cooled it off a little bit. So the good thing about a direct offering, they're not all bad, right? Sometimes it's a way for a company to raise money. So they're going to intend to use this proceeds as an offering for continued development of its diagnostic platforms, which Trueforma falls into that. Milestone payments, if any come due, collaboration, strategic acquisitions, so maybe buying up some other companies that could help them grow. And working capital, a lot of the same there. And then they also put a thought in there that they could use that to buy back some shares in the future. So, at least they've got some good plans for this. Most of the time when I see this direct offering, it's literally for, what do they always say? Working capital purposes is the only thing they usually say. So they've got a few more things, I think, working on here trying to grow the business. So while it's a short-term pain, it's not necessarily a dead blow in the long run. There's several companies that do direct offerings, and they end up recovering nicely. So I think this one's going to fall into the same boat. Okay, next up, upcoming catalyst. So if you're familiar with Zomedica at all, you know that they've got their main flagship product called Trueforma The diagnostic equipment's like the size of a shoebox. You slide a disc in, you take a sample from an animal, and then it gives you super quick results. So that is actually slated to release March 30th. And I read an article that Cohen, who I think is the CEO of the company, he said they're on track to meet that March 30th deadline, which is good. A lot of companies push that stuff out, but they're on track. And he said, as our sales effort begins, we intend to implement a controlled release phase wherein we slowly begin the sale of the TRUFORMA. So they're not just doing it widespread. They're going to do it with 3 of the assays, which are like 3 specific, I would call them like a disc. You can test for certain things. So they're starting with the 3 in a limited geographic area in order to make sure that they have a successful rollout. Because nothing's worse than just throwing stuff out there and then it's a jumbled mess and nothing works smoothly. Your customer service is a piece of trash. Nobody wants that. So systematically rolling it out, geographic area, only 3 assays to start, and then they've got 2 more assays, which I think is going to be another positive catalyst that are coming later in 2021. And that's more for the long-term crowd. But so they're going to keep using this piece of equipment, adding functionality to it with these assays. So very good news there. The 5 assays will be used in conjunction with TRUFORMA to rapidly detect thyroid diseases in dogs and cats and adrenal diseases in dogs in as little as 18 minutes. So very common diseases that a lot of pets have, and so they're going to be focusing on that. Okay, so last up, price target. Let's talk a little bit about price target update. In his January 18th shareholder letter, CEO Robert Cohen, he discussed this coming year for Zomedica. He reminded them that they had a strong cash position, holy smokes, and that they had more than $90 million in cash on the balance sheet after accounting and capital expenditures, which is really good. So you can see that their debt to asset ratio continues to drop, which is a great thing for a company, especially one that's trying to grow. He also mentioned there that they have enough cash on hand to fund the operations through the year 2023. So another great thing. And none of this even includes the $200 million they just raised, right? So a lot of working capital. They've got a lot of cash on hand. They're trying to roll this out correctly. And that they've got a lot of growth plans, which is usually why companies have cash on hand, is growth and roll out to have success. The last thing you want to worry about is a lot of debt. So good things there. So they signed that distribution agreement with Miller Veterinary Supply, which is one of the oldest out there, big supplier. So they've got that leg up. My price target for pre-launch, so this is prior to March 30th, I think this stock's going to hit $3.50 to $5 a share. I think the closer we get, if there's any more positive catalysts come out, pre-orders, more specifics on the rollout, anything like that could kick this stock up. But I think in general, as we get closer, people are going to be hyped about it, and they are going to get into this stock, throw some money into it. And I think we're going to see $3.50 to $5 a share, very likely before the March 30th release. That's one avenue to look at. The other one is the long term. So I did a little research on this, and there's a lot of analysts out there who are really looking at this stock thinking that it has some serious potential because of the pet industry. All right, pet care industry has been growing. People spend more on their pets than they do on their kids. This sounds kind of bad. But anyways, some people spend more on their pets than they do pretty much anything else in life. And so, this industry is going to keep growing. People are going to want their pets to live longer. They're going to want to get their sicknesses taken care of. And so this, in a long-term potential, this whole sector here, pet care sector, is going to grow exponentially into the billions. All right. So with that, a lot of analysts they're not putting it on paper yet, but the consensus I'm getting is they think that within 12 to 24 months, this could be a $10 plus stock. I think that's relatively conservative, but you have to see what the future holds for them. Of course, all that is pending a successful rollout. They continue to develop and grow the company, the product lines, all that fun stuff. So I see some good short-term potential as well as long-term potential for this. I'm probably going to have a little bit of both in my portfolio, but I'm not telling you to do the same. I want to make sure you do your own due diligence. Remember, this is for entertainment purposes only. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just kind of giving my opinion on what I'm seeing and what I think is going to happen going forward. But I just want you to let me know in the comments down below what you think of Zomedica in the short term and the long term, and maybe what your investment plan is on it. I'd be interested to read that. Make sure that you do like the video if you enjoyed any of this content or if it was helpful to you. Subscribe to my channel, click that notification bell. Link down below for 2 free stocks from Webull. If you sign up, open an account, $100, you get a stock, I get a stock, we all get a stock, party stock, something like that. But anyways, that's all I've got for today, guys. So until next time, have a great day and God bless.